direction. And this is going to be a 30-minute practice all about lower back, spine health. So we're going to move the spine in a bunch of different directions and just really try to spend some good, healthy energy in that area. So I would love it if you have a yoga block or a blanket. Either of those will work. I'm going to use both, but whatever you can find around the house will work too. A pillow. Sometimes people say a big book for a block, but I prefer something soft. So pillow, bolster, that kind of thing would be great. And we're going to start lying down on your back, and you do want that block kind of handy. So I'm just going to put it right next to me. You'll bend your knees, plant your feet, and then walk your feet a little wide so you can knock your knees together. And just bring your hands to your belly. So one of the most important things we can do for our back, for our spine, for our whole body, even mentally and emotionally, is just to find some stillness. So that's what we're going to start by doing, just closing the eyes and breathing. As you breathe, I want you to try to find as much movement in your belly. So allowing the belly to inflate as you breathe in. And feeling it deflate as you breathe out. And as you do that, you've got to allow that whole area to be really soft, really pliable. And most of us walk around with a lot of tension held in the belly area because society tells us that our belly should be flat and skinny and tiny and not move at all. So we unconsciously clench and hold tension there. And that can actually impede our breathing. So with every breath you take, try to get a little softer, a little heavier. I like to even imagine that my muscles and my bones are just turning to water and they could melt into the ground. Thinking like Alex Mack style, turn into goo. Got about 3 more breaths just to be here. And if you haven't already, just notice how you're feeling without any judgment. Taking it as information. If there's any hot spots, if there's any areas that are causing tension or pain, just notice. Take one more deep breath. Okay, and then go ahead and bring your knees apart, walk your feet about hips distance. We're going to do some bridge rolls. So your hands can either stay on your belly or come down by your side, starting by tucking the tailbone, sending your butt towards your heels, and then as if you could lift it up one vertebrae at a time, starting to lift your hips, your pelvis, and then lifting as high as you can. Or maybe not even as high as you can, just to like 80 or 90%. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, same thing to roll down. Try to do it one vertebrae at a time. And keeping that pelvis tucked under until it comes all the way down, and then you let it go, let it spill forward. And do that with your breath. So send the butt towards your heels, press into your feet, nice and slow, peel up as you breathe in. And then exhale to release on down. So not only are you building mobility in your spine here, so you're going to keep doing that with your breath. You're also building some really good strength, so you might feel that some muscles in your legs and your butt are starting to work here. And part of having a healthy spine is that strength as well as that flexibility. And so the next time you lift up, again, do it nice and slow, tuck tail. One vertebra at a time, lift it up. This time, pause. You're going to pause here and breathe. Press your feet down into the mat. And then without letting them lift, try to drag them towards your shoulders. Try to drag the mat towards you. What you feel as your hamstrings maybe turn on. I feel that a lot. And take a deep breath. And even with all of that work, as you exhale, find some little areas to soften.
Still allowing expansion at the belly, at the rib area. And then gently go ahead and release it down. You can just windshield wiper the knees, let them fall side to side. You're gonna grab your block and then come into a supported bridge. So lift your hips up, slide the block under your hips, and put it on the flattest setting for today. And then once you feel really secure, make sure it's on your hip, your pelvis area, not your low back lumbar vertebrae area. You're gonna start to lift your feet up, your knees up. And what you'll feel is that bowl of your pelvis kind of rocks in towards you, towards your belly. And that's good, you wanna allow that. So before you do anything else, just taking a breath, kind of softening. Then straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling, just your right leg. And as straight, as strong as you can get it. It might not be perfectly straight, that's okay. What you're gonna do is keep your pelvis rolling in towards you and start to lower the right leg only as much as you can without letting that pelvis roll and splay. See what happens to my low back. You're keeping belly contained, holding that tension with purpose as you lower that right leg down. So it probably won't come all the way down, and then hold it. So again, some good strengthening for these areas that support the spine, that hold you up. And I'm shaking a little bit, so take a deep breath. And nice and slow, just maybe 3 or 4 times, slowly lift and lower the foot just an inch or 2. Make sure you're not just bouncing, your control lift and lowering. Keeping that leg straight, and then nice and slow, you are gonna let the leg come all the way down and let your pelvis spill kind of forward, grab onto your left shin or your left thigh, and then pull the left leg in. And breathe. In any areas that you can soften with your exhale, allow it. Take another deep breath. Okay, so if you have any acute low back pain, you'll probably just want to bend that right knee and kind of pull it in. If you're feeling okay, you can try to keep the leg nice and straight and lift it all the way back up to where we started. And then you're gonna bend the knee again, both knees into your chest. And so always taking it easy when you need to take it easy and honoring whatever you're feeling, especially if it's pain. And straighten your left leg up towards the ceiling. Again, as straight as you can get it. And then gently keeping the pelvis rolling in, so a little bit of tension at the belly is good here. Starting to release the left leg down with control, just until you get to that place where you feel like the pelvis wants to roll and not letting it happen. Okay. Then that slow kind of lower and lift, all while you're breathing. And after you've done that maybe 3 or 4 times, you can allow the left foot to come all the way down, let the pelvis spill, then grab onto your right leg and pull it in. And now what you're allowing is some opening, some lengthening to this front left hip. This is really good if you spend any part of your day sitting, which, let's be real, all of us do nowadays. So take a deep breath. And keeping that left leg nice and strong, nice and straight, still allowing that softness. Take one more breath. And instead of pulling this right knee as close as you can, just a gentle pull. Okay, so again, you've got the option to bend the left knee or keep it straight as you lift it all the way up towards the ceiling. And then you're gonna bend it. And plant both feet on the mat. And just take a breath here. And then slide the block out from underneath you. And bring your hips down to the mat. And you're going to windshield wiper your knees a little side to side. Okay, go ahead and grab behind the thighs. So you can either rock up to a seat or you can roll up to a seat, however you can comfortably get up there. And then coming into hands and knees. So I like to put a blanket, under my knees. It's totally up to how your knees are feeling. And then spreading the fingers nice and wide, go through some cows and cats. So cow on your inhale, chest forward.
Tailbone lifts, shoulders roll back, so it's all that extension, back bending in the spine. And then as you exhale, rounding into it, tucking chin, pulling belly in, press into your hands. And do that with your breath, so you can move at your own pace. Again, what we're going for here is mobility, so controlled, mindful movement, but that can add on a little bit. That can kind of play around. I like to add little side bends. You can circle out your ribs and your hips and your neck, part of your spine. We're not focusing on the upper back and neck, but it's a huge part of your spine. You can shift forward, back a little bit. Maybe even towards an up dog, again, as long as you're not feeling acute pain in your low back. Okay, so if you're going for something a little more gentle today, you're going to come into puppy pose. Just hands walk forward, start to rest your head maybe down. If you're feeling a little more active, you can come all the way into downward facing dog. So fingers spread wide, toes tuck, and then you lift your hips up. Either way, down dog, keep your knees a little bent. In puppy, give yourself a little bit of kind of ease. So don't go into your deepest place of the pose. Again, maybe like 80% today. So you allow your body a little bit of pliability, a little bit of that softness that we're talking about that's so important. Head can hang heavy. Again, let go of that tension in your neck. You're gonna take a deep breath. And from wherever you are, whether you're in puppy, tabletop, or down dog, you're gonna step your right foot forward. And then hands can come up onto your front thigh. You're welcome to keep your back toes tucked. It'll give you a little bit more strength and power. We're going to do a little bit more of that strengthening work. So press your right foot down into the mat and try to drag your feet towards one another. So right foot pulls back, left knee pulls forward. And then pull your belly in. So you're finding all that tension, all that strength. Take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, you're going to sink into it. Allow your hips to sink forward. You might even be able to scoot your front foot forward a little bit. And doing that again. So with your breath, as you inhale, you scissor your legs, belly pulls in, lift up. And then exhale, allow the softness. And sinking into it. Again, belly pulls in. Keep the bowl of your pelvis pretty much facing up as you inhale, and then try to keep that even as you soften a little bit. And one more time, strength and strength and strength, and inhale. And exhale. So you might be feeling a little bit of fatigue in the muscles. That's good. You're going to come back to that strong place. Right foot pressing down, trying to drag back, and then a twist. Left hand to right knee, right hand to low back. Stand up tall through your spine, and then twisting. And breathe deep. And even with all that strength, allow the softness around the edges so your chest can expand, your belly can expand. One more strong breath. And then you're just unwinding. Hands come back down to the mat. You choose whether you want to go to tabletop and kind of move it around here, or downward facing dog's an option too. And we're going right to the other side. So left foot stepping forward. Come up into your knee down lunge. And you're going for kind of like 90 degrees at both knees to start. Hands either on thighs or up overhead, again, if you're going for more active, more work today. And then press your left foot down. It's a scissoring action, like you've got open scissors you're trying to close for your legs. That'll turn it on. And you kind of keep the back toes tucked. Take a deep breath in, belly in. And then as you exhale, allow the softness. So the tension is okay. Do that again. Breathe in, find that tension, that work. As long as you have the ability to soften, to allow the movement. 2 more times. And we never want to be tensing too much. I think of it like a rubber band that's stretched so far it's about to snap. You want to keep it a little bit softer than that. One more time. And then find that strength, so that lifting up place, right hand to left knee, left hand to low back. Big inhale to stand up tall, sit up tall, and then twisting from that long spine. And breathing into the twist. Again, don't go to that extreme place where you're at your edge, you're taut, you're holding on for dear life. Stay a little bit inside of that edge. To allow the softness, right? And the breath. One more breath here. And then unwind. Come back into your tabletop or your down dog. Move it around. Okay, I'm going to move the blanket out of the way. So if you've got a blanket, you can move it. And either from full plank, knees lifted, or knees down, plank lower, all the way to your belly, keeping your belly contained as you lower, so you've got that control. And then we're setting up for Cobra, but before you do Cobra, what I want you to tune into is, again, that low back, that pelvis area. So similarly to what we did, I'm going to come into kind of a Sphinx pose first. Similarly to what we did in bridge, I want you to send your tailbone down, so sending your butt towards your heels, not so much that you clench your glutes and your butt, and you're keeping your glutes soft. It's just a press of your pubic bone, that lowest part, front part of your pelvis. You press that gently down, but enough, soft enough, so your glutes stay kind of soft. They're working a little, but not clenching. Okay, so come on into Cobra with hands by your shoulders. Find that gentle tuck, that press down a pubic bone without letting glutes clench. And then start to lift up. So again, if you're in the acute back pain phase, Sphinx might be better for you because it's supported. Cobra requires a little bit more of that effort, of that muscular work. If you're feeling okay, if you can find that gentle push down of pubic bone without clenching, you can even start to bring in the arms a little bit. What you want to keep working is wrapping shoulders back, pressing chest forward. And again, don't go to your end point where you're a taut rubber band that's going to snap. Find the pliability, find the space to breathe, to soften. Maybe one more breath here. And then just release on down. And bring your hands under your forehead. This is crocodile pose, forehead on hands. Sometimes it feels good to wiggle out your hips and your low back. You can also windshield wiper the knees. Take another breath, just as soft, as heavy as you can get. And then hands by your shoulders. So, doing your best to press back up to tabletop with control before you even move. Find your knees in your mind's eye. Feel that connection to the mat, the floor. You're going to press into hands and knees at the same time. So your thighs lift almost first. Before your chest, your thighs lift a little, and then everything lifts at the same time. And child's pose. And you might not have been successful the first time you try that, but think about that when you lift up from your belly. So in child's pose, you can bring your knees nice and wide. It's more of a traditional or typical child's pose you might find in most classes, or you can keep your knees together and touching. If you do that, it'll allow some rounding of your spine, which might feel nice. You can bring an ear to the mat too. If you keep your knees wider, it'll allow your spine to stay longer. Really, it's just about where you can settle in, where you can get soft, find some release, and breathe. Come on up to tabletop, either staying in your table, coming to your puppy again, or down dog. Just for one deep breath. And again, if you're in down dog, generous bend in your knees. And then come into a seat and go ahead and roll down onto your back. Plant your feet, so knees are bent, almost where we started. You're coming into figure 4 across your right ankle on your left knee. And before you just automatically lift the left foot, if you do that all the time, kind of pull it in as tight as you can, keep the left foot down for a moment. I'm not a huge arguer of flexing this right foot. Your knee is pretty safe here, so you can let the right foot soften, What I want you to do is just gently start to sway your hips a little bit side to side. So your whole lower body is swaying, legs, hips, pelvis. You can do this either with your left foot on the mat, or you can lift the left foot up and do the same thing. We're just kind of easing into these muscles that we're trying to give some stress. And because stretching is stressing them, we're asking them to lengthen a little bit. Stress isn't always bad when we're talking about muscles. If you want to, right hand can come to right thigh, you can encourage it forward. Again, stay just inside of that taut rubber band feeling. And then you can pause either with left foot on the ground, or if you do want to grab for the left thigh, pull it in, you're welcome to. Find the areas you can soften. Take some deep breaths. Again, notice whatever it is you're feeling, whatever comes up, with as little judgment as you can. Release out of that. Plant your left foot, straighten the right leg towards the ceiling first. And then plant it down. You're going to have to walk your feet a little bit wider. Let your knees fall to the left. You either stay here or cross your left ankle on top of your right knee. And then arms can reach towards the back of the mat, wherever you are. Again, notice that initial instinct maybe to tense up, to fight this. Allow that softness, that release. And the breath is really the way to tap into that. If you do feel any twinging in your knee here, left ankle, you can release that. That'll be less pressure there. One more deep breath. Uncross the ankle, pull the knees up through the center, straighten them out for a moment, and just shake them out. And then pull, bend the knees, plant the feet, and left leg up, figure 4, cross left ankle. So again, take the moment here, a couple moments here, to move a little bit side to side, to maybe let go of the flexed left foot. Again, that'll facilitate some softness. If you're flexing, you're encouraging that tension everywhere, and we want to allow release. Maybe you lift your right leg up and move a little bit there. Almost like we're trying to creep up on these muscles. We're trying to sneak up on them so they don't notice what we're trying to do. And then your choice whether to grab for the right thigh, pull it in a little bit, or if you're feeling sensation here, you just stay right here, breathe. Okay, straighten your left leg up towards the ceiling, and then plant it down. Feet come wide, then you're letting your knees fall to the right. You've got option to cross now, right ankle on left knee. And I like to reach the arms back. You can also keep them open by your side.
Notice anywhere you're tensing, you're clenching. Consciously, deliberately allow softness. Imagine melting to the earth. Or feel gravity, right? It's pulling you down. You feel that. And across the ankle, pull the knees up. Again, straighten out the legs, shake them out a little. And last thing, bend your knees, plant your feet, lift your hips just like a couple inches and drop them down. And then try not to move your hips for the rest of this little exercise. You're gonna lift your right foot up, interlace your fingers at the back of the right thigh if you can, or just grab onto it, and then push with your right foot away from you until your arms straighten and you resist. Not by actually pulling the arms, just because your arms are literally as long as they go. And take a deep breath. In and out. And then you're going to release your right foot down. Don't lift your hips up. Go right to the other side. So interlace your hands behind your left thigh. Push forward until you feel the arms resisting, just because they're as long, as straight as they can get. Take a deep breath. And then release the left foot down. So we're going to do that 3 times on both sides. Grab for your right thigh again, push it forward. Take a deep breath. And then release, right foot down. Do your left leg. So what we're trying to do is create some traction, some space in the hip joints, maybe even into the low back joints. Release your left foot. This is a really great thing for the hips, for the pelvis. And if you're thinking this is not a yoga pose, you're right. This is more of a physical therapy exercise. But yoga can learn a lot from physical therapy and vice versa. So we take what we learn. Take a deep breath. Last one. And then release. And try not to move your hips. Just plant both feet. Take a deep breath. And we're going to end where we started. So walk your feet out wide. Knock your knees together. Hands come to rest on your belly. Shimmy it out a little bit if that'll help you get even heavier, even softer. Take a deep breath. Allow that expansion and then the softness of the exhale. You feel any fighting, any tensing? I feel it in my hips, in the low back. Imagine that melting, that gravity pulling you down. You are welcome to stay there as long as you'd like. Breathe some space, breathe some softness into your body. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. The light in me sees and honors the very same light in you. Namaste.